Absolutely.
For the purpose of determining these attitudes. Whenever the defendants would rise to attempt to initiate a dialogue with us, he would angrily accuse them of interrupting or of delaying the proceedings or of making these statements solely for the purpose of delay. And I think it's important that he does this in front of the prospective jurors. Today, on 2 occasions, he's threatened them with contempt of court in the presence of the jurors. Now, the defendants don't ask him not to threaten them with contempt of court because I think it's likely that he's going to do it several more times. His temperament is that type. But all they ask is that he not do it in the presence of the jury, and he has refused to do this. I think his whole approach is going to have the natural effect of just contaminating any potential for a fair trial, for a fair jury, for a fair and impartial jury. And
See, the role that he plays as such an authority figure, he wears a robe, he stands high on a platform, and these are simple people who come in, most of them for the first time, to be jurors. What he says influences everything they will do. So that if he says something crossly to these defendants, it indicates an attitude of his toward them. We know his attitude because he's already told them. He's already told them their act was violent. He's already told them that he believes they're criminals in so many words.
I must admit that I'm somewhat innocent about this. My feeling that the judges were always impartial.
Oh, well.
Apparently isn't true.
No, I think that's a very handsomely naive feeling that any layman might have. I think perhaps it's laymen who have that feeling. Anyone who has practiced law knows that when you go in a courtroom, you generally face 2 prosecutors. One wears a robe and one doesn't. And I think that that's exactly the situation here. We know that we face 2 prosecutors. And it's just that we want the 12 people who sit in the box to be the jurors and to be fair people, to be open-minded people, because they can save us from these prosecutors. They're the only ones who can. And under our system of law, they can do anything they want.
This judge has already made the determination and announced his determination that issues of international law and issues of justification will not be permitted, are not relevant to the facts of this case, without having heard our proffer, our offer to him to demonstrate how it is relevant. He has not seen our witnesses. He has not questioned our witnesses as to what they'll testify to. He's made a pre-decision without any basis for it. And that's at the outset of this trial where we're not even completed jury selection, and that's his attitude.
And it's certainly without any research into the law, because he's wrong. This country and every state within the Union and every citizen within every state is subject to international law. And I think the people of Germany could vouch for that. International law controls the outcome of your conduct. And you may have an affirmative duty to enforce international law as a citizen even of this state. The judge says, we're just looking at the statutes of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Well, that's how it all begins. I mean, that's where the allegations come from. Those allegations have to go under scrutiny within the international community. And the justification defense is not limited by activity within Pennsylvania. For example, the judge would not allow what I thought was a very resourceful question by one of the defendants yesterday, how do you feel as a juror about what this country did in Hiroshima and Nagasaki? I think that's relevant. How do you feel about that? How do you feel about an individual who might take the position that that was a war crime? I think a juror's response to that is essential. And we got one from a man who had come in at first saying that he was, because these were Catholic priests, he could not find against them and all of that nonsense. And finally this man said, I was in the Second World War, and he